world's first commercial wave farms, and she joins us from Edinburgh. Claire, congratulations on your award. What natural resource is necessary to make a commercial wave farm work?
So, Jenny, it's really about energy from the waves. So that there's a huge amount of resource that's available in our seas, and that there is quite a new technology area. So there are lots of people looking at different concepts for extracting those resources, and I worked with a particular company called Palamas Wave Power that had a technology that was suitable for doing that.
I know we've been talking about this for donkey's years. I mean, I can remember talking about the Severn Bore when I was in local radio more years ago than I care to remember. How likely is it to happen widely in this country?
I think bringing new energy technologies forward is very challenging. So actually most of the technologies that we use at the moment benefited from lots of public investment. So nuclear and gas and wind farms, they were heavily subsidised and supported by the public before they became mature technologies. Today's market really relies on the private sector a little bit more, and I think that makes it very difficult because they're long programs to bring forward to test and demonstrate those technologies. But I'm hopeful for the industry. I think it continues to make progress and demonstrate lots of significant milestones. So I'm very hopeful that we'll see commercial wave farms in the not too distant future.
What is it about the energy industry that excites you?
I think really it's about the work that we're doing and the decisions that we're making. I feel that they're important. So, we have a real impact on society, on climate change, on people's quality of life. And that's really rewarding to be doing work that you feel has meaning.
You now work for Arup as an energy consultant. It's a very, very famous engineering company.
Absolutely.
Sydney Opera House, I think Arup was involved in, if I remember correctly. So what does the energy consultancy work involve?
Okay, so I mean, there's lots of different types of engineers. My particular specialism is really offshore energy, so anything to do with electricity or energy that we can extract from the sea. So I'm involved in offshore wind farms, wave and tidal, and also oil and gas decommissioning as well.
Decommissioning of oil and gas? What does that involve?
So the North Sea is one of the oldest oil and gas basins in the world, and we did lots of the development in the 60s and 70s, and significant amounts of that infrastructure is coming to the end of its life. So that's a real technical challenge. It wasn't designed really with consideration for how it was going to be removed, and we expect that it's going to cost somewhere between 40 to 100 billion to remove all of that, those platforms and wells and pipelines that are in the North Sea.
Gosh, that's an alarming figure. How did you develop your interest in engineering?
My father was an engineer, and I expect his enthusiasm for technology rubbed off on me. So, as a child, I loved bridges, planes, ships, things like that. I studied, or I enjoyed physics and maths. I liked the kind of rigour and the discipline of it, and engineering seemed like an obvious choice.
It is still, I think, a pretty male-dominated industry, especially at your end of it. What happened with the Edinburgh manhole?
Sorry, the Edinburgh manhole?
The manhole cover.
Okay. Yes, sorry, I know what you're speaking about. So yeah, the story from very early on in my career, I worked for the distribution network owner, so that they own all the wires and cables that supply electricity to your home. And I did a very practical role, so a lot of site-based work, and the teams were great, I think, at not treating you differently, at giving you all the jobs that men would do, and do them in the same way. So I was working on a project where we had someone's electricity had gone off, and we were trying to find the source of the fault. fault. And kindly, some of the guys that I was working with left me struggling on my own with a manhole cover and a crowbar, trying to do an inspection. And a very well-to-do, well-dressed gentleman walking down the street stopped and offered if he could give me a hand, which the guys on the team thought was absolutely hilarious. So they said in 30 years of working, no member of the public had ever offered to give them a hand.
Now, the award that you've won is named for Karen Burt. Who was she?
So she was an eminent physicist. Among some of her amazing achievements, she developed scientific satellites, and she campaigned very vociferously for women in technology and in engineering. She tragically died. Her life was cut short, and the award was established as a legacy by her father, Cyril Hilton.
Well, Clare Lavelle, congratulations again, and thank you very much indeed for joining us, and I hope you don't have to lift any more manhole covers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as part of our anniversary